I've got another company. We do remodels. I'm out of Oklahoma. We do remodels for the Creek Nation and demolition projects and stuff like that. And I'm in the process of starting a demolition company. Well, for the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I've been wanting, to go with like a safe bet and try to do work for the government. And that's kind of how I guess we got uh, linked up together.
Sure.
And, I don't, it's logistically, it's, as I was trying to get through all that, whatever .gov stuff, I mean, it's an obstacle nightmare getting through all of that stuff and talking to the right people. And I mean, it was just one roadblock after the other trying to get something set up.
Yeah, it's not intuitive. It's not for
Yeah.
for whatever
Yeah.
reason, it's not designed for people in the construction industry to figure out easily.
Yeah, it's not very user friendly to say the least. And and I'm 57. I'm old school. Just typical country guy, layman. All my education is from the School of Hard Knocks. As far as navigating through websites and computers and all that other stuff, it's not really my forte.
Yeah. Well, it's not for everybody. And so you kind of have to make a decision. Listen, if you've watched any of my stuff, you'll know I don't bullshit anybody. So I'm going to give it to you the way it is.
That's the way I want it.
Okay, doing work for the United States federal government is a tenth of the effort that you've been doing construction work your whole life. Okay, I'm not kidding. It's that easy. But you're going to have to learn some new skill sets. One of them is being able to find the work. Now, listen, that sam.gov, that website is atrocious. It's terrible. I spent $250,000 creating something that replaces it. It's called Bid Tracker. All you have to do is go in and click sync. If you can click one button, you can use my bidding system. You just click sync, 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 and it puts the files right on your computer automatic. You don't have to download anything. Then all you have to do is look at the plans and specs. Now, in the federal world, in your world, you have to get licenses and you have to have relationships with people that will give you money to build shit. In the federal government, again, none of that exists. You just bid the work, and if you get the job, now listen, in your business, you bid it to win it because I got to have more work to have more money to continue on in business. But in federal
Correct.
government construction, I never bid it to win it. I always bid it so that if I got the job, it'd be a home run every single time. It's
Kind
a
of a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
it's a different perspective, and that's why I said, try to stay with me here because I'm going to give it to you straight. It's a lot different, but I've done it 1,000 times, and when I say 1,000, I mean I have done over 1,000 federal contracts. I've done every type of construction that you can imagine. I have done, and I can probably tell you where I did it and roughly how much it was. Um, but I've done over $1 billion worth of work for the federal government, and now all I do is answer people's questions and solve their problems on federal contracts. Now, with all that said, if you have questions, I'll answer anything you want to know.
Well, first question is when you bid a job and you're awarded a job, say for instance I bid one and we're awarded it.
Yep.
So once we're awarded the project, say it's something in Texas, I mean, is there somebody that I report to who gives me the scope of work, who oversees the work, who is who's responsible for keeping up with our time?
Do you want there's two different answers to your question. Do you want it from my perspective how I did it, or do you want it from your perspective the way that I think you're thinking about it?
Well, typically the way we do work, say for instance, I have a maintenance contract at Phillips 66 in Borger, Texas,
Yep.
and they have a system there called Track, and we get paid weekly from the prior week, and that works out pretty good. I've got a project for Goodyear. We do maintenance in Goodyear. they pay, theirs is a 90-day pay. Logistically, they're all different, but say, we're doing it, sometimes we do payments per work of progression, milestones met,
Yep.
Timelines,
Yep.
completions, percentage of completion and stuff like that. And then some projects, if we bid them and they're big enough, say they're, $4 or $5 million, I'll put in a contract that, we want 15 or 20% up front.
Yep.
Contingency money.
Okay, so I understand the question, Eric.
Okay.
I've been around in this business for 30 years. I've seen it all. Under the federal government, we get paid. All action in the federal government is under one rule book. So it doesn't matter if you're working for the Department of Labor, the United States Department of Agriculture, the EPA, the Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Indian Affairs, National Park Service, CIA, FBI. They all operate under one rule book called the Federal Acquisition Regulations. When you're talking about payments, you're talking about Federal Acquisition Regulation Part 52. It is also known as what's called the Federal Prompt Payment Act. And the part that you're specifically asking about is the part about progress payments. And what it says in there is that the contractor shall be paid monthly or more often as deemed necessary by the contracting officer on a percentage complete basis. So if you're 50% complete, you get 50% of your money. It goes on to say that the contractor shall be paid within 14 days of a partial pay request, meaning less than 100%. So if you're less than 100% done, you put in a pay request, you get paid in 14 days, period. On a final pay request, it says you shall be paid within 30 days. So what I tell my guys to do is bill it 98% complete, even when you're 100%, so you can get your money in 14 days and let the government suck on that 2% for the 30 days that they're entitled to by the Federal Acquisition Regulation.
Let me interrupt you and interject just 1 second. Say you're at the end of the project. Say you're 100% complete.
Yep.
Is there somebody that is there on the job site that goes out and says, "Yep, these guys are 100% complete"?
In almost all cases, you'll have what's called a contracting officer's representative, the COR. Okay. And that is the closest. Sometimes they'll call that person the inspector, but it's not an inspector in the same way that you would expect a state inspector to be out there inspecting the gas lines or the electrical lines or it's a little bit different, but they're looking for compliance to the contract rather than specifically compliance with code, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yep. So what are their, now you said contracts, how are their contracts? Are their contracts pretty stiff? Is there a lot of language in there for indemnification things?
There's 4 main parts to any federal contract.
Okay.
Number 1 is the contract itself. If you Google Standard Form 1442, that's the most common federal contract there is. It's a 2-page document, and at the top it says solicitation, offer, and award. And so they're soliciting the contract, you're offering a bid, and then they award the contract. Solicitation, offer, and award. It's a 2-page document. Now, that's one part of the 4 parts of the federal contract. The second part is what's called articles incorporated by reference. You ever get a car loan and you have to sign 11 pieces of paper to get the car?
Mm-hmm.
The articles incorporated by reference are kind of like that. They're referencing all those federal acquisition regulations, and you're just agreeing to their terms. You're agreeing to abide by the federal acquisition regulations. You can Google them. That's right. Then the third part is just like almost any contract you've ever gotten, the quote specifications and the plans. Okay, so the scope of work, so to speak. And those are the 4 parts to any federal contract. As far as like having to do a lot of paperwork or that kind of stuff, not really. I mean, nothing more than what you would do on any other type of contract. In other words, you know, if the job is to paint the room, they're going to want to see what kind of paint you're using. So you give them a cut sheet on the paint.
Do they have specs or something like that though that you have to follow?
They do. And
Okay.
specifications, now I don't know about this in the real world, but in federal contracts, specs are broken down into 3 sections. Each specification has 3 sections to it. It has the oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. It's the let's see, the product, the execution, and general product and execution. So general will be generally describing the product, then or what they're trying to accomplish. The product is the actual spec on the product. Use this type of paint, and then the execution will be how many layers of paint, what thickness of the paint, that kind of thing.
Okay. I got you. So do they, say for instance, you're awarded a project, are you to self-perform everything yourself, or are you allowed to subcontract things out?
Okay, this is where we get to play a fun game. Do you have a couple more minutes for this call?
I do.
Okay, we're going to play a game, and it's going to light a light bulb in your head, a big one. So hang in there with me. Have you ever heard of a SAM registration?
Yeah, we're registered.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to give you the answer to the question before I ask you the question. Are you ready for the answer?
Let's hear it.
SAM registration. Ready to play?
Yeah.
There's one thing and one thing only required to be a federal contractor, and that is a
federal SAM registration.
SAM registration. So if you sell cake mix to the Navy so they can make cakes on ships, what do you need?
SAM registration.
If you sell bullets or aircraft parts or even construction goods and services, what do you need?
SAM registration. Well, I was going to ask you if there was any kind of pre-qualification
No,
that you have to do.
I'm not finished. I told you had to hang in there with me, Eric.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician in the state of Oklahoma. Now, that has nothing to do with the company that got the job. That just means that the guy replacing the transformer has to be a state licensed Oklahoma electrical guy, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician. Well, now, any licensed electrician from any state can go into Oklahoma and replace that transformer. Understand, this is federal eminent domain property. There's no such thing as a state inspector going onto a federal job.
Huh.
Okay?
Okay.
Scenario number 3. The transformer shall be replaced. Now, that literally means that you and I can go out there on a Saturday and replace the transformer. And that's how I can tell you I've done $1 billion worth of work all over the country. I've never had a license of any kind other than a driver's license. You just have to read the requirements and comply with them. In California, they'll require a state licensed roofer to replace the roof. But in Texas, there is no such thing as a state licensed roofer. Okay? You just have to read the requirements and comply with them. So yeah, 95% of my work across this country, of that $1 billion, was done by calling contractors like you and having them go in there and do the work, not knowing that I'm charging the government twice what I'm paying you.
Pretty crafty.
Yeah, you keep asking questions, Eric. I'll sit here and answer every single one of them.
Well, I'm fixing to walk in and get me something to eat. I'm with a staff associate right now, and she's listening as well. But so now, what's the catch on your end? What do I have to do? Do I have to get into your?
I only have one requirement for anybody that wants to work with me. They have to watch one specific video, and when we're off the phone, I'll text you the video. Now, listen, it's an hour-long video, but At some point, I don't care if it's today, next week, next year, sit down and watch it. And then this is my personal cell phone number I called you from. Just pick up the phone and call me and we'll talk.
Okay. I'm going to send you a snapshot of my business card.
Okay.
And if you can email me that film, I can watch it on the computer.
I understand.
And then can you send me what your company information is? Like, you know, what all you have and everything.
It's in the video. I explain everything. The reason I
okay.
make people watch it is because some guy called me like you, and he asked me more questions than anybody had ever asked me before. And when I got off the phone, I was thinking, damn, everybody that wants to work with me should have to watch that video because nobody's ever going to think as many questions as he thought of.
Okay. Well, let me get in here and get set down and get me a table, and then I will send you a snapshot of my business card, and then just forward that to me. We'll watch the film, and then we'll be back in touch.
All right, take care, Eric. It's good talking to you.
Yes, sir. You too.
Bye-bye.